With Casper, and my name's Casper Jones. I handcraft skateboards for Life Skateboards, and you're watching another day with Casper here. We're going to be loading up the monster press, and then I'm going to shape some until about 4:30. If you'll give me 1 second here, I'm going to share this to a couple other platforms, get my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I'll be right back. Do Not Disturb. Share. Copy link. Awesome, John. I'm going to be right back after I share this to a couple platforms. All right, and I'm back. Oh, so we're going to start off today with just unloading what's in the monster press, labeling it, and then we will get on from there. So these are some big ones here. This is a 15-inch wide press. I'm sorry, a 15-inch wide mold. If you'd like to order some of these before we release them on the website, you just go to the Life Skateboards Instagram. That's Life Skateboard 1010. And check those out. There's instructions for how to order it. Alright, we're going to label the date. We label the date on all these so that we know when they're cured for 7 days. So these boards go into press for 24 hours and they cure for 7 days. They definitely make it different to turn. Should be easier to turn with wider trucks. Just a little different. All right. And these ones I'm pulling out are 6-plies, and we are going to be loading 3 6-plies into the press today. So I went ahead and already pulled the layups for today. Now I can put you guys over here and we can get started. All right. This tripod used to move a lot smoother. It's almost like I've been making boards and filling the whole thing with dust all the time. Hi there, John. I've got a beautiful head of hair. You want to check it out? Thank you, buddy. It's really sweet of you. It's really sweet of you to check, though, man. But if you have any questions about board making, the board making process, or anything I'm doing here, feel free to ask. If you're like, what's his name, and have a comment about vanity, go for it. Project yourself, that's fine. All right, so we standard do 7 plies of maple, but on these bigger boards we've been suggesting do 6 plies. So here is 6 plies of maple veneer. We're going to glue 3 of these boards up and then load them into the press. Here at Life Skateboards, we glue all the boards by hand to ensure full glue coverage on every side of every ply inside of your skateboard. And if you buy a super during this process, put a note on there. Whatever you want me to write in the board, I'll do that. Obviously, keep it appropriate, but... Oh, and yeah, guys, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. How do we get logos on the bottom? So here at Life Skateboards, we apply all of our graphics with hand-carved Lino blocks. So those are like kind of like a big stamp. We have a local artist carve the relief image into it. And then we roll speedball Lino block printing ink onto it, slap that on there, and there's your graphic. The reason we do that is while the industry uses a standard of heat transfer to mass produce photorealistic images and lots of graphics, The way you apply heat transfer is by rolling the board through a heat roller. Heat weakens the bond between wood and glue, and we never want to pass on any damage to the board to the customer. So we make sure that our process doesn't give the board any added stress before it reaches the customer. Good question. What made me want to get into board making? This is a dream of mine, and the opportunity came up. God, what was that, 4 years ago? Made some serious life changes and never looked back. Hey, thanks for subscribing. If you guys like what you're watching, make sure you double tap that screen for me so YouTube knows you like it. Please. And if you have any questions about board making, feel free to ask. You can go to lifeskateboard.com and get any of these boards. There's over 77 board shapes listed on the website. You can choose your wheelbase, you can choose your ply, you can choose your graphic, all that fun stuff. Everything on there is made to order, so you get exactly what you want. After work today, I'll be going around to pick up some prize money for the event that we're having at Lawrence Skate Park in November. We're hosting the Remember November skate contest again. It's going to be fun. I think we're up to $700 and something in cash prizes and thousands of dollars worth of product to give away. So I'm excited for that. It's going to be November 9th at Lawrence Skate Park. Well, thank you, John. It's definitely a work of art, but I want to see them shredded. There is only one of those boards left. What's up, Duckworth? I saw we found each other's Instagrams this morning. I can't wait for you to get yours, Teddy. Which one did you get, Teddy? I cannot remember. All right, so now that this one's glued up, I'm going to tape up the ends of it. That way when it's in the press, it doesn't slide around. I did not go to a Muncie Jam yesterday. I went with some friends up to Muncie 2 days ago. I'm sure it was a good time. The signature board. That should be on its way then. I'm stoked, Teddy. We're based out of New Palestine, Indiana, just 20 minutes east of Indianapolis. Strangest request for a board. So I don't see all the requests, but the ones that made it through was when Bale Gun Gary wanted our 8-bit football. That is a symmetrical shape that has cutouts like steps up to the nose and tail. After I'm done gluing this up, I will pull the template for it so you can see how wild that thing is. Of course, Anthony. Yeah, check us out. Life Skateboards 1010 on Instagram. Lifeskateboard.com has everything on there too. Awesome, Native Beauty. Should get your son a handcrafted skateboard. Just make sure you get the right size for him. You used to go to school in Greenfield. Greenfield's about to get a park. Well, a better park than the one. If you went to school in Greenfield, then you probably know the, for lack of a better word, skate park that exists there right now. They added a pump track, and it's kind of but hopefully this new park is going to be rad. I really, really hope they go for Hunger with it. Hunger Skate Parks builds a good skate park. From Utah, thanks for tuning in. I think that's a good point to remind everybody. We do ship everywhere. International shipping is a flat rate. It kind of sucks, but we do ship everywhere. You just go to lifeskateboard.com and check it out. The more boards you order, the more work I've got. The more work I've got, the more lives like this you see. And if you guys want to support directly, yep, it's Life Skateboard 1010 on Instagram. If you guys want to support me making these videos directly, you can always buy supers and thank yous. And then I also have a Patreon. The link to that is on my channel somewhere. I'm bad at that. But I set it up with all kinds of tiers of subscriptions starting at $1. So if you'd like to support seeing this kind of stuff, making the Life Take Shape videos and making the travel videos, feel free to do that. You'd be helping me out a lot. I can immediately withdraw the Patreon stuff, so you guys help me pay bills when it comes to that. Speaking of travel videos, I'm a bit bummed. I was going through the footage for the last couple trips that we were making videos of, and I think so there was a bit of a miscommunication on exactly what I wanted for filming and B-roll. So it's going to take me a couple of weeks to get through all of the footage and edit it and hopefully get everything to work. We do have a plan to make the videos work in the future and make it a little bit more streamlined. Unfortunately, what I thought was filmed in 4K was all filmed in 1080p as well. So in the future, all the travel videos will be filmed in 4K. I'm making a skateboard from veneer. Snack, Scooby snack. But pretty much, yes. Wow, John, thank you so much. That's awesome. Where's my pen marker? Hold on. John is rad. Now that's gonna be inside somebody's skateboard and nobody's gonna know. The SRT cop is rad too. Thank you guys. That's awesome. And Casper's keeper in there. That's my fiance, so you guys are directly helping both of us. Thank you guys so much. John, I'm pretty sure you just pushed me over the AdSense withdrawal limits and everything, so we'll see what happens when YouTube updates on that, because I haven't been able to make a withdrawal yet. Thank you. I'm doing all right, Brian. How are you doing today? Skirt, skirt. There you go. There you go, Wesley. Are you describing the sounds that wheels make when you do lip slides and power slides and all kinds of fun stuff? The little skirt, skirt, that noise? Or are we going to refer to it as barking? Hey, she keeps me in line. You know it. She's got to keep me in line. Not much, Joel. How are you doing today? Just putting some, gluing up the last monster layup of the day, and then we will get into the next room and get to shaping. I've got an alarm set for 4:15 so I can head out and pick up some prize money. But we will shape probably right up until then, unless I get done a little bit early. And then for the next couple days, we still should be going live and shaping. A little bit more glue for this last piece here. What am I doing for Halloween? I don't know. I've got the White Barn party on November 8th and the contest I'm running on November 9th. I'd really like to get these travel videos finished so I can get another trip in before November. So maybe I'll be taking a trip for Halloween. I'm not sure. Are you doing name Travis? I'm not very sure. I'm a little confused on your comment there, but I'm sorry. That's a good question, Ogre Chick. They are under pressure for 24 hours, and then they cure for 7 days before the shape is cut out. That's a good question. You're about to see the press get raised up here. If I'm not paying too much attention to the chat while I'm raising the press up, I apologize. I gotta pay attention to alignment pretty closely while I'm doing this part. Yeah, absolutely, Everton. You go to lifeskateboard.com. That is lifeskateboard.com. All right, I'm going to get to loading this press up. So like I said, we are loading up the monster press. This mold is 15 inches wide. Why? Because why not? We're going to fit 3 in there. And these plastic separators not only keep the glue off of the press, pretty much off the press, it's still a little bit still gets in there, and we still need to clean up every once in a while. But it keeps the boards themselves separated, makes them easier to pull apart afterwards. Alright, put it straight in there. Throw this last one on there, and then we're going to slide the upper mold and the lower part of the youth mold into here. So this press can usually has the long molds in the bottom and the youth molds in the top. But we can take the centerpiece out of the long molds and slide this monster press into there, which is what you're seeing happen here. Alrighty, so now we just have to make sure that these jacks are tightened down. Now we did originally have these hooked up with a compressor as pneumatic jacks. We just haven't hooked the compressor up through this room since we have moved the shop. Boards have got to get made. A little extra work, works just the same. Alright. Now we're just going to raise these up. And you guys are going to watch along here. You'll see a little bit of glue start to squeeze out of here. Mostly friendly. The red boards above me, I will show you in a moment here. This is a bit of a time-sensitive part of my job. You're starting to see the glue squeeze out in little bubbles across here. And without pneumatic jacks to be able to time the pops in between them, I just go until it can hold my body weight. And then I know it's under sufficient pressure. All right, so yeah, that's called squeeze out right there. And those are loaded into the press. Now we're gonna cover up the glue. You wanted to see a red board in the corner here. So these are all finished boards from us. Here's that 8-bit football I was talking about. Here's a popsicle that I hope that's what she was referring to. But these are all graphics applied with hand-carved lino blocks. All these shapes are available at lifeskateboard.com. Ooh. All right, so now we're just going to cover up the glue and we'll move on to the next room. I apologize, but I'm not sure which board you're referring to. If you're talking about the boards I was pressing, those boards are coming out of the monster press. If you go to Life Skateboards 1010 on Instagram, you can find instructions for how to order those 13.5 and 14.6 shapes. We've got several shapes that come off of that same concave. When we go into the next room here, you'll be seeing templates for shapes all over the walls. And you'll see me go through the steps of shaping that happen after the shape is cut out. We do take customs. You're just going to have to contact my boss through either the Life Instagram, that's the quickest way to get a response, or there's contact information on the website. And the website is lifeskateboard.com. Forgive me if I'm a little sluggish today, guys. I am currently trying to change my diet and trying to be healthy. I'm trading coffee for tea, and I'm trying to be healthy. Good luck, real one. There's a lot of people getting back into it. Art? No. So we apply our graphics with hand-carved lino blocks here at Life Skateboards. You can see us use those if you'd like to. If you understand what a lino block is, you'll understand why we don't do like photorealistic graphics and things like that. But the reason we do that is because we never want to pass any damage onto the customer by heat transfer, which is what the majority of the industry uses a heat roller to apply a graphic. Heat weakens the bond between wood and glue, so we don't do that here. Can you do a Casper? You mean Casper stall tray flip? Yeah, I think everybody that played Tony Hawk Pro Skater learned how to do that one. I learned how to make boards by making boards. I was trained by Sam Koch, the owner and operator of Life Skateboards. How many skateboarders does it take to change a light bulb? 3. 1 to do it, 1 to film, and 1 to say, damn, that was sick, man. Nutcracker always comes in blessing me in the chat with not only donations, because thank you so much, but also a great joke every time. Nutcracker, you're the best. What's up, Tim? I'm sorry I'm missing a lot of stuff here, guys. All right, so I'm just going to kind of go over what happens after the boards are pressed. So the boards are pressed, they're in the press for 24 hours, and then they cure for 7 days. And don't forget, guys, if you like what you're watching and you want to support, quick way to do that, double tap the screen, share this with people that you think would enjoy this. No, you Nutcracker. Nutcracker's the best. He's the best. He or she, I apologize if I did that wrong. But so those cure for 7 days, and then after they're cured, we take these uncuts, bring them in here, and Sam, the boss man, puts the truck holes in on this right here. He then takes one of these templates. All these shapes on the walls are shape templates, and he attaches them to the uncut through those new truck holes. Takes that shape right around this template. I will remember that, Nutcracker, I promise. And this right here cuts out the shape. Once the shape is cut out, this is what I end up with. And this one is a coffin. If you ordered a coffin recently, congratulations, I'm shaping it right now. Don't knock things off the wall, Casper. So when I get a hold of it, the edge looks like that. It needs to be at a 90 with the concave. So you're gonna see me bring it to a 90 on the belt right here. And then we're gonna round it off on this tool, on this here. I'm going to clean it up a little bit more here. When I get here, I'm going to have to air it up. There's a bladder in there that's a little bit low. Then we got a Mac wheel over here to clean it up on, and an orbital over there. I'll be wearing a respirator for the majority of these steps. So usually on the orbital is when I can catch up with you guys in the chat and stuff like that. But I wish I knew. Love you too, Tim. I wish I knew who you were, because that could be I'm going to choose to say that that's a compliment, okay? I'm going to accept that as a compliment today. Let me go grab the compressor hose. I'll be right back. So we're going to go ahead and get to shaping this coffin here. I got to put my hair up, throw my respirator on, and we're going to move along here. Now don't forget, you can get these boards at lifeskateboard.com. Buy supers if you want to. My Patreon's on there somewhere. Subscribe. It's up here in that corner, I think. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. And double tap the screen. Do that thing. I want to see that number up when I look back at it, okay? All right, we're gonna take it to the belt sander first. I hope it's satisfying. So now that edge is at a 90, we're going to bring it over here and round it off. Now this is my favorite step of the process here, especially to watch. It seems really satisfying. I'm going to try to get you guys in a good position here to look at it. And I might even try to clip this. I'm bad at doing that. So now that's rounded off, but it's not very clean, so we're going to clean it up over here. done there, we're going to take it over to the Mac wheel and then over to the orbital for the final step. Clear some space off for myself here. These need to go into the studio momentarily. Move these over here. These. Alrighty. Real quick, let me grab the charger here so that we don't lose the live here today. Alright, and we are good to go for the next one. So after all that shaping, we go to a 150 for the finish. This is hooked up to a Festool vacuum system. And this final step here is just removing any excess glue and cleaning up the edges here. It is a very fun board. When we made this coffin, I set it up. I set the shape up and made a fun little edit with it. It's hard to skate, it's a challenge, but that's what makes it fun, right? Freddie, how are you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Note to self, don't have things in your back pocket while you're sitting down somewhere. My butt goes to sleep. Don't forget, guys, if you really like what you're watching, please double tap the screen for me. Let YouTube know you like it. All that fun stuff. Subscribe. Blah, 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 blah. on to the next board. This coffin is on lifeskateboard.com, so get one. All right, so there's one board down. We've got two monster boards coming up next, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and take those two through at the same time. You can always lurk skate facts, promise. Well, I'm glad you were able to catch it, Sweaty Freddy. I'm glad also that I do random times on these, so it kind of gives everybody a chance to catch these live. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with what you're watching Days with Casper. My name's Casper Jones. I handcraft skateboards for Life Skateboards. You can get any of these boards at lifeskateboard.com. Make sure you double tap the screen for me, share it with your friends, share it with your grandma. Who knows? Maybe she wants to watch skateboards get made. Maybe she'll get you one. But all right. So these next two I'm going to take through the process together here. And these guys are big. More surface area requires a little bit more love. So bear with me here. We're going to keep working through this. the next step here. Hey, Russell. That's strange. That's strange. Strange comparison. Hey! Oh, great Jedi. Good morning, scumbag. 5 years sober today. Everybody that's in here that saw that, tell Grey Jedi congratulations. That's awesome. Got a friend celebrating her 1 year today as well. That's rad. That's awesome. Alright, we are going to move on to the drum over here. If I'm over here working, share this for me. If you guys got a Facebook, hit that little share button right there and tell all your friends to watch this. If you got an Instagram, hit that little share button and hit the copy link thing. This one takes a little more work, but you can put that on your story there. Or you can just send it to people in text. Just spam all your friends. Be the annoying person that's sending me making skateboards to all your friends. That's fine by me. Oh, and double tap the screen. Thank you. back wheel. Shaky. Ready for the orbital, and if you'll give me just a moment, I'm going to run over the next room and grab a harsher grit for these discs. Knock all this excess glue off and then come back with the 150. Hi there, Master Yoshi. You can get a board at lifeskateboard.com. I'm sorry I've had a moment bit here where I couldn't see the chat. That's perfect right there, Sweaty. See, the cool thing is mine is in the chat right now. All right. Water, tea, happy. I might even eat lunch with you guys, who knows? All right. Like I said, we're gonna hit this with a harsher grit. And then come back with the 150. I just want to knock this excess glue off of here and be able to see what you guys are saying. Alright, if you guys are new to this, you're watching Days with Casper. I'm handcrafting skateboards for Life Skateboard right now. And this is the final step before graphics are applied. If you'd like to see how graphics are applied, you can check out videos on Life Skateboard 1010. On Instagram, I do have some lives where I did apply graphics on the lives. Right now we are running this live off of a Wi-Fi. This is a big metal box. Studio's in another building. I'd lose you guys if I went over there. So unfortunately, until we get the Wi-Fi extended that direction, that's what we're gonna have to do. Thank you, Casper's Keeper. What do? Ignore it. Pay attention to people like Jim Gray or Eric Dressen that are still skating into their older years, and understand that if you stick with something and love it, then you never have to give it up. And it doesn't really matter how old you are. the graphics. Hopefully you can hear me. So here at Life Skateboards, we apply all of our graphics with hand-carved lino blocks. Those are carved by local artists, majority Ben Blakely. It's kind of like a big stamp. We commission the artist to carve a relief image, and then we apply the graphics from there. All graphics are applied by hand using those blocks. Thank you for the sub, man. And don't forget, guys, if you like what you're watching and want to see it more, make sure you subscribe so you catch my lives. I don't have a schedule. You just gotta kind of catch me. What's up, Dylan? Good to see you on here. Hey, Dylan, make sure you come out to Remember November on the 9th. I know you're not on socials very much anymore, but Remember November is November 9th at 2:30 p.m. and we're getting up above $700 in cash prizes, so it'll be awesome. All the excess glue off of that one. I'm going to go back with the 150, hit everything and clean up the edges, and we'll move on to the XXXL pan head that's sitting right here. Don't be afraid to go, Dylan. I think you saw how I handled situations that could go south at the 4th of July event. Stand right by me. It'll be really easy to find me. I'll be in a red jumpsuit. What are the odds that you could watch me make your board when you order it? Very likely. I will say when I'm shaping these, I don't know what the order is. Sam just gives me a stack of the orders and I shape them. But likelihood is very likely, unless I'm in a rush. The only time I'm not going to go live is if I'm like not feeling well, but I still got to get work done, or if I'm in a huge rush to get work done, or if I'm using it for a Life Take Shape video. So you'll likely end up seeing a board get shaped if you order one live here, or it's going to be on one of the Life Take Shape videos. That's a good question. Now when I'm pressing things, like I pressed earlier today, those boards are not going to get cut for at least 8 days. So you're not likely going to be able to keep track of if you watch your board get pressed unless it was a very specific layout. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that, Dylan. Just remember what we talked about. Stick to the truth. There is no your truth and their truth. There's just the truth. And if the truth is what you're telling everybody and what I'm believing, you don't have anything to worry about. Had to clown on me. Such a weird mentality, but thank you, I guess. So far as Halloween for me, Minus Skate Shop is going to be doing something at Arsenal Skate Park. Hopefully I'll be free to do that. I'm really hoping to get these videos edited so I can go take another trip. Maybe I'll take a trip for Halloween. But then the Remember November thing is really going to take up a lot of my time. I organize all of the majority of the sponsors. Shell and I get together for the prize packs. I pretty much plan out the event itself and MC the event. So it should be a fun one. What's up, Dora? Thanks for tuning in. But it does take a lot of effort and time. I'm doing all right, Dora. Hope you're doing all right as well. So the event itself doesn't have a page, but my Instagram is where I post everything from. That's Stranger Casper on Instagram. As we get closer, I already have a preliminary flyer out with some of the sponsors, the times, and stuff like that. As we get closer, the City of Lawrence will accept collaborations, most likely on that. So check that out for me. Thank you, Will. I appreciate that. Portland, Oregon, thanks for tuning in. Burnside's red. I actually used the paint choices at Burnside as an example for a project over at Lawrence Skate Park. You should Google that. Google Lawrence Skate Park, Indiana. Check that out real quick. So Will, popsicles are $70 and then shapes go up from there. I will say wood prices are going up, so don't expect those prices to stay exactly the same for too long. But if you go to lifeskateboard.com, you can check out shapes, and there are some that are unreleased, but you can still get them. The instructions for those are on the Life Skateboards Instagram. That's Life Skateboard 1010. Hey, kickflips are kickflip, Dylan. Of course, Will. I got you. Thank you. I didn't do any of the art. We just spearheaded that project. We used the base coat choices from Burnside with the they used flat block paint for a primer, and it worked really well. Got really good luck with that. And thanks to how Burnside kind of changed around the area that used to be Burnside, it's helped a lot as far as getting the city on board with everything we're doing. Have a good one, Dylan. Yeah, I've been bouncing around all over the place, so I haven't had too much time to be at LP for very long. But just hit me up sometime, man, and we'll go out there. You know, I tend to kind of stop that kind of stuff from happening. We'll be there to skate. Hey, Gray Jedi. Guess what? This is the beautiful thing about lives. That's my favorite thing about lives, is when you ask where your board is, and I've got it right there. So it's waiting on Sam to put graphics on it, and then it'll ship out. So Photo Demon, at the moment, we are a little low on colored veneer. So what we've been doing is we've been rolling the entire board for you. So if you want the top and bottom done, you would just have to contact us about that. Really quickly, what board are you looking at, Photo Demon? I can probably check something for you. Thank you, Yo-Yo. I might be able to check what we have left for you. All right, let me check something really quick for you, man. It looks like we are down to pretty much naturals on everything at the moment. So if you want it rolled, just let us know and we can roll both. This is absolutely massive, I promise. We recognize it too. We have some coffins, yes. We have everything as well. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, Photo Demon. Of course, I apologize for the inconvenience. We're likely going to remove colored option and just leave the rolling option on there. Oh, this guy is gigantic, but we've got two bigger ones to do in a second here. Let me go ahead and pull out the tape measure and give you an accurate measurement. This boy right here, it's only 11.78. It's not that bad. We got some bigger ones coming up. I say only because we make a 14.6, but we do make boards all the way down to 7.75. But I like to make that joke. This one's only 11.75. Which one? got this one. Middle turning, you can see the other one. Alright, so this is the bars. And it is good to go. And then we got spider web on this side here. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the XXXL pan head. Supposed to be green. Yeah, it'll likely be getting rolled green. Like I said, I don't see any of the actual orders when they come in here. I just saw a coffin, and I rarely do see coffins. So that bottom is likely going to be rolled green with a clean print on top. Because unfortunately, I don't even see the paperwork in the stack. I just saw a coffin, so I figured I'd show you, Jedi. I apologize for any confusion there. But no worries, your board that you get, if you ordered a green coffin, will be a green coffin. There's just a bit of a disconnect from the orders themselves in this part right here. I apologize for any inconvenience or any confusion. Hey, congratulations, stay in your lane. Awesome, Leighton. Glad you're out skating. Leighton, out skating. Yeah, well, especially, Leighton, remind me, which board did you get? Once again, sorry guys, I don't see the actual orders, and I am memory of a goldfish. Okay, perfect, Leighton. Great question for you then. So I'm actually I'm running behind on the Life Take Shape videos. And after I finish this one, the next on the stack is actually your board. Do you mind if I shape it here live, or do you want me to wait until I'm about to make a video? Let me know. It'll be the next one I shape here, if you want me to shape it here live. Sweet, Leighton, I'll get on that next then. Hey, Will. Just cleaning up the edges on this here. And then we'll get on to that 10 for late. That's a great question, Leo. So we apply all of our graphics with hand-carved lino blocks, and what we do after so those blocks are pretty much big stamps, like a big relief image that we commission an artist to carve out, and then speedball ink makes a lino block specific printing ink, so we use that. We also have a lino block specific fabric printing ink, where we can use the exact graphics we use on the boards to make apparel. We can make shirts, sweatshirts, and everything else with your favorite Life Skateboards graphic. Great question, man. Well, Steve. Here you go. We make boards all the way up to 14.5, so we've definitely got something for you, bud. Check out lifeskateboard.com. The boards on there are up to 11.75, and if you go to Life Skateboard 10.10, there's some instructions on how to get these big boys. Slappy makes a 13-inch truck. Obviously, a little bit exaggerating here, but we do make boards of all ranges, all sizes. You can change your wheelbase, whatever you want. So we've definitely got something for you. And if you're heavy-footed as well, you can choose how many plies you want inside that board. So, give me one moment here, and we're going to get started on the next few here. The next one's going to be a 10. Bear with me. Talk amongst yourselves. Go get a life. Be right back. So there's a fire out there I got to keep an eye on. Of course, Steve. Yeah, we've got. If you're old school, you're gonna like what we do here. Then we make the boards the right way, the way they used to be made. Thank you, Casper's Keeper, for trying to keep that going. Also, just so you know, for our schedule, Casper's Keeper, I'm planning on. I've got a travel video of where we went through and saw some old vision boards. It's a bummer how much of a loser that guy turned out to be, isn't it? Leighton's watching from North Carolina, and Leighton's about to watch his 10 get shaped. So this is the 10 from Life Skateboards. Leighton ordered this. Someone earlier asked, what's the likelihood of seeing my board shaped on live if I order a board? Well, Leighton's proving it's pretty likely. So this first step here, I'm going to bring that edge to a 90 with the concave. Sorry, I drank that tea a little too fast. If you guys like what you're watching, make sure you double tap. I want to see that number go up. Subscribe for me. Share it with your friends. All that fun stuff. We're going to get loud. Of course, Noni. Yeah, he turned out to be a loser, for sure.
Definitely did. If you guys are unfamiliar with what Gator did some really bad stuff. He was probably one of the first people to prove that skill doesn't kind of undo your actions in skateboarding. Absolutely, Jeff. Yeah, that's correct. Thank you, Steve. Agreed. Yeah, I would assume he would be, because you don't really get much you don't really get much forgiveness for killing somebody with a steering wheel lock. I don't have a lot of sympathy for woman beaters, let alone women murderers, so. Gator stinks. Oh, thanks, Jeff. You and Mike V have something to talk about then.
Jeff, I'm going to encourage you to check our website where we have over 77 shapes available with the specs available right next to them. 9 and 1/8 inch wide. I don't know, probably our Stinger range on that. 15-inch wheelbase you can choose. And 33 long. You just have to make sure you do the math on the nose and tail to make that work out. Yeah, I would definitely just check out our website where you can check all those specs on there. If there's one thing that like the nose or the tail can be shortened 1/2 inch to make your length work, we can do that for you. But yeah, I would just encourage you to check there. It's kind of hard to go off of just width and those things when we've got this huge plethora of things where there's a lot in that size range. There's a ton in the 9 to probably like 9 1/4 range. But if you start off with a shape, asking me questions from there, I can definitely help you out. What makes a board keep its pop? So what you're probably referring to is probably the kicks staying nice and how they're supposed to be, like that, to continue to give it pop. I mean, a sturdy board's going to have pop. So sturdy board means deep concave and made really well. But our boards, once we put them in the press for 24 hours, they're curing for 7 days in a stack of their own concave. So yeah, good wood also makes good pop, but most skateboards all start out with the same wood. It's just what's done to it to either make it weak or strong. So heat transfers ruin skateboards. Weak concave ruin skateboards. Short press and cure times ruin skateboards. But yes, maple, but specifically Great Lakes and Canadian maple. Because you want something with slow growth, long winters, because that creates a wood that has tight grains, so it's going to be less porous, but maple is also extremely malleable and strong. So that's why you choose maple. Yeah, and what Jeff said is don't put your board in a hot car, just like you don't buy a board with a heat transfer. Because the thing that ruins your board when it's in a car is heat. However, the majority of the industry uses a heat transfer to transfer their graphics, even though that's going to damage the skateboard. But most of these companies really don't mind passing that damage on to the customer because they know the customer will eat it. Yeah, I can imagine, Joseph, that would be pretty difficult to not do. There's ways to make it easier. I know on trips I've wrapped my boards inside of heat shields and stuff like that. Definitely a hard thing to do. Yeah, most of the time when I'm on trips, I don't have the luxury of putting it into air conditioning, so that's where I'm assuming they're coming from as well. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a heads up here. After I shape this board, I'm going to end the live so I can go eat some lunch. If you guys have any final questions, let me know. It's going to be just a little short lunch. I've just got some lentils and beans to eat over there. And then I'm going to do another live until about 4:15, continuing to shape. So if you guys want to catch that one, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and you can catch me working. Ask any questions. Remember, this is a live call of how the skateboard should be made. They should be made like this. Is the website on your page? Yes, it is. It is lifeskateboard.com. Lifeskateboard.com. It is in my links. The first link is my Patreon. I believe the second one's Life Skateboards, and the third one is my Instagram. Well, guys, that's a wrap. Here is the 10 for Leighton on there. Now I'm going to be back shortly here shaping boards again. I'm just going to go take a short lunch break. Remember, my name is Casper Jones. I handcraft skateboards for Life Skateboards. You're watching Days with Casper. You can get one of these boards at lifeskateboard.com. If you'd like to support me directly, you can always buy supers. I also have a Patreon. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can catch me working here live. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in later again, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.